Hey, I'm the Confused Ogre, and today we're making a diorama. I'm thinking a haunted forest vibe that's fitting for Halloween or Thanksgiving. The focus will be on a young witch, her horse, and their house on wheels. I have a lot of ideas for this project, such as glowing fire pit, an epoxy creek, and perhaps a skeleton or two. I hope you enjoy.
Let's paint.
Now, my daughters have been a big source of inspiration for these projects we've been doing, and this one's no different. We decided to go with a pumpkin for the base. Thought it would be fitting with the fall, Halloween, Thanksgiving vibe we have going on. After we got it cut out, we laid out the miniatures we're going to be using. And then started roughly laying out where we wanted the creek, the rocks, and the trees to be. I'm still using that standard pink XPS foam with a roll of tinfoil to give the rocky, stone-faced effects. So far, everything's coming together just how we wanted, and before we glue it all down, I want to get the trees made and in position, as well as cut out the base for the electrical. For our spooky trees, I decided to go with a tree that I found on another channel, Geordie Crafts. I'm going to put the link down below. Basically, we're taking the wire bundle, starting about 2 inches from the bottom, and we're wrapping up, every so often branching the bundle into halves. Make it random, make it natural. Once the trees are done, I drill some holes and I fit them on the board, making sure they don't smack into each other. Next, I'm going to pull out that hot glue gun, and I'm going to coat the entire tree with hot glue, following up with the soldering iron to even everything out and to put some random bark grooves down the trunk. Finally, I'm going to break off limbs from these seafoam trees and glue one onto each branch. It's tedious work, but it's worth it. They look great when they're done. Onto the electrical work. I plan on hiding the switch in this foam rock, so I get that prepped. Then I use my router to clear the areas that I'm going to be running wires, as well as the spot for the battery pack. This is a great time to get the base primed, as I'm going to be installing that battery pack next. Once it's secure, I solder the battery to the switch, and then I hold everything into place with some hot glue. Next is the LEDs. I ordered some that came with the resistor already installed to save me some time and energy, and this made them plug and play. Just hook them up to a 12-volt power supply. They weren't as bright as I'd hoped, so I soldered 5 of them together in series. I didn't realize it till a lot later, but I think I should have wired them in parallel. I was 100% confident at the time that I was doing it right, and I didn't even think about double checking. Oh well, rookie move. With the electrical done, I can start making everything permanent on the base. I start by filling in the gaps and doing a little shaping with this Bondo. Then I superglue down all of my foam rocks before supergluing down some real rocks. I do my method of 3, big rocks, medium rocks, and tiny rocks. Then I hit everything with a coat of Mod Podge before doing the final dirt effect with some random playground sand. Follow that up with another coat of Mod Podge to seal it all into place. I grab some random sticks from the yard, clean them up a bit, make them look natural, and glue those into position as well. At this point I was worried how spooky my forest was going to end up, so I doubled down and thought it would be a good time to add some skeletons in the mix. I tucked them away in some nooks and crannies, as well as a few random skulls and rusty weapons long forgotten in these dark, spooky woods. To seal everything into place, I hit everything with a generous coat of flat black primer. I made sure to hit the trees as well. Now, I included some footage of airbrushing here, My thought was that I would save time, but my airbrush skills are just not up to par, and I was overall pretty unhappy with how it turned out, so I scrapped it and figured I could do a much better job by hand. I did, however, hit those trees with some grayish brown, and the trees turned out pretty good, and I kept those. As for the fire pit, I had seen a guide a while back about using some hot glue to make flames, and initially I tried to do that, but it didn't work out very well, and I ended up going with this kind of bed of coals effect surrounded by rocks, and I really liked the way it looked on and off with those LED lights. So once it was on, I hit it with a coat of primer and moved on to painting. Pretty standard method here with the way I paint. I usually try to keep it to 3 different color variations at most, so darker browns up to lighter browns, darker blues up to lighter blues. You know, nothing in nature is perfect. It's really a lot about randomness and variation, so I didn't get too crazy with perfection here, just kind of went for it. In those rocks, I do my standard dry brushing technique, start with a pretty dark gray and work my way up to a lighter gray and even like a ivory wraithbone type color. Hit those logs, same thing, kind of darker browns, working my way up to lighter browns on top. Then I made sure to hit my skeletons, good bone color as a base coat, before jumping over to the shield and scythe, where I did a dark gray lead belcher, followed by some green wash as well as some rust color to give it that nice worn rust effect. With all the painting done, I gave the entire base a generous wash with some Nuln oil. Really, not gonna lie, I was pretty stoked at this phase of the game. It was turning out exactly how I'd hoped. Next, I wanted to do this epoxy river. I thought it'd be a simple project for me to do epoxy resin for the first time. It's a simple 1-to-1, part A and part B ratio, and I added a drop of this aqua acrylic paint to just give it a little bit more of a blue hue. I used an eyedropper to put it in there to make sure I didn't spill anything, and there we go. Let it sit for 24 hours, cut it off, and I did a little sanding on the edges here to clean it up, make it look complete. As for these miniatures, I try to go pretty quick with them, try to keep it pretty simple. The horse, I started with just the black primer, built up with some gray and some black wash at the end. For the carriage, I did an overall dry brush zenithal highlight, gray up to white, and then I started filling it in. Some nice wood effects, some lighter woods, some darker woods. Really just trying to go with the flow here. With the woods done, I started hitting those details. The ropes, the star ornaments on the sides and the top. I hit the steel bits and pieces all over the outside and kind of gave them a little bit of a rusted effect, same as I did with those weapons earlier. And then I hit the stars a little brighter gold, brighten them up before focusing on the banners on top. Quick green contrast paint followed by some highlighting and then edging with this gold paint. Finished up with a generous coating of Nuln oil to tie it all together, and boom, looking good. Can't tell already, I love dry brushing. Hit the witch with some dry brushing. I feel like it gets everything 90% of where I want it to be before I can follow back and do some touch-ups and highlights of where I think still needs it. Decided to go green with this witch with some dirty blonde, kind of blondish reddish hair. Hit the apron, hit the pouches, hit those details as well as the base. I tried to match the surrounding camp where she's going to be standing. When it was done, gave her a coat of Nuln Oil. For the final step, we just need to add some ground cover and flocking to our trees. Just hit the PVA glue into the nooks and crannies, and I'm going to go with 4 colors. I'm starting here with this dull green, followed by some rusty red. After that, some bright orange, and finish up with some bright yellow. I think that gives all the colors of this fall foliage that we're looking for. Now, a lot of guides I've seen talk about just using a can of spray glue, but I didn't have any around, so I just filled up some watered down PVA in my airbrush, hit the trees, and did the same flocking effect. I kind of kept it to 2 different variations of trees here. The green with a yellow highlight, and then the orange with a red highlight. And, you know, gave some variation, I think, which would be kind of normal with trees in the fall. As we turn down the home stretch here, I'm going to be gluing down the wagon, gluing down the horse, and then I'm going to be gluing all of the trees into position. I had a ton of fun with this build, and I hope you guys enjoyed watching the process. If you made it this far, please hit that like, hit that subscribe, or comment down below on what you enjoyed most. It really helps me out a ton. And without any further ado, the woods.